What up, world? It's your boy Mark Waldo Ward, Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. Recently, I did an episode with Taz Tycoon. Make sure you check that out. TAZTYKOON. And I also came across Left Eye's Death Row mixtape album, whatever it was supposed to be, and listened to it. And it was very interesting. Me and Taz are going to do an episode about it. But in doing my research, I came across this fantastic site, theeyesright.wixsite.com, and the person who runs that site's gonna do an episode with me about Left Eye's musical career. So y'all enjoy. Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop, and music journalist Mark Waldo Ward. They have discussions about hip-hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? It's your boy Mark Waldo Ward, Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. Today we got a very knowledgeable guest to talk with us about Left Eye from TLC's solo musical career from the eyesright.wixsite.com. We got the Eyes Right. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. I did an intro before this, but just I explained that I had a guest on, a female rapper, Taz Tycoon, who I connected with, and right around the time I came across the Death Row Nina Ross or Nina Simone or whatever, the Nina album, and I seen it called different things, and we're gonna do an episode where we give our opinion about that. And so in doing my research, I came across your website, and I discovered all this like fantastic Left Eye music I never knew. I don't even know where to begin. So let's talk about the site. Like, what about Left Eye in particular appealed to you so much personally that made you want to undertake such a labor of love?
It's a raw, organic energy. Like, she was just true to her nature and who she was, and stood for what she believed in. Like TLC, that was always their stick. But the way she did it always like grabbed me. Like, she has such attitude and sass, and was very unapologetic about things.
Yeah, definitely. You got that right. But
Yes.
I mean, well, that being said, one thing, I was surprised that that unreleased album that or I guess Supernova was released, but as much as she was unapologetic, she also made amends. I mean, her and Andre Rison had a song together, although I didn't quite understand what his contribution was.
Like, to the album or to the song?
To the song.
He actually had a little more input on the album too.
Okay, well, tell that story. But real quick, what did he do on the song? Like, I didn't like, maybe I wasn't, because I was like doing dishes and stuff and listening. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear him like talk or nothing.
Really? He's on Rags to Riches on the Supernova version. He's like doing the additional vocals, like saying I'm going, and he's rapping on the second verse.
Oh, see, I was just looking for him to talk. Oh, that was him. Okay, Andre Rison, I see you.
He did talk, and he also produced the song.
Okay, well, shoot, shout out Andre Rison. So what? And you said he had more input in the actual album.
A little bit. Like, there's another song called Head to the Sky that he co-wrote on.
Okay, well, I was unaware of that. I'm gonna check out see if Andre Rison did anything else. And a couple of places have described the Death Row album as kind of like a rehashed version of Supernova. And then listening to both of them, I definitely thought Supernova was better, especially the Tupac song. But it's like one of my issues with the Death Row album is it felt like a lot of those verses that the artist put didn't fit in with the song that Left Eye had. And I'm curious, well, what do you think of my assessment? And was there any verses, non-Left Eye verses on the Death Row album that stood out to you that you liked?
My favorite ones, honestly, I do have a couple of favorites. I love how they redid Let Me Live and The Block Party. I feel like those were solid out of all of them, the most solid. My favorite would have to be, dang, it's kind of hard to say because I would say Eastwood laid the hardest bars. I would say Eastwood was a solid one. Like Crooked Eye and Phobia did their thing, but it was Eastwood when he got on the track, he spat. Like he just ate. So I feel like Eastwood did good as like the best feature on the album.
Now that's funny you say that because I did think he had the best feature on the album, but I also thought he had some of the more discordant, like especially see, I don't know if the version I heard was a proper track list, but one of the songs, it was number 1 or 2 on the version I heard. He was his verse just had like nothing to do with what she was talking about.
Mm.
You know, it was all like basically like some gangbang and stuff, and she was singing about like that, you know, embracing your inner light type stuff. So, you know, to talk about Supernova, like, you know, I know you know the history and everything. Why didn't it get released in the US?
Well, it didn't get released in the US because it wasn't to the standards of the record label.
Really?
They didn't feel like the album was where it should have been to their eyes. Like there was a lot of anticipation for the album, and you know, people expected, you know what's up, Left Eye, the Ladies Night Left Eye. You know, she's up there talking her talking her stuff. But that's not where she was. She could do it and she displayed it on Hot. And there are some songs that she did play like that, like True Confessions and Rags to Riches, but it was more of a spiritual direction. And they were like shaky on it, like how Lauryn Hill record label was shaky on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. They was like, oh, this is a coffee book album, but she's like, no, this means more to me. But her record label actually pushed it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, we'll give it a chance and give it exactly what it would deserve. And it made mad waves. And then Lisa was basically asking for that same thing, but what if the record label stood 100% and not being sure?
Damn. So in some regards, man, she has such a conflicted life. So in some ways, you could look at that as that her spirituality held her back as a solo artist, at least in maybe not in how good the music she created was, but in the ability to release it in the current record company structure she was basically stuck in.
But also it ties with the fact that TLC, every time they did an album, they never wanted to be on a trend. They always wanted to set a trend. So her goal was to bring the spirituality to her album, but make it fun and inviting, but dark also. But it's just and bring something new to the table that people have never heard. She wanted to keep that energy going about being an innovator and setting trends.
I mean, that to me, that's what the great artists do. Since you
Mm-hmm.
brought up TLC, I don't want to get into any of the messy stuff, but apparently there was like a lot of creative disagreements, and that doesn't even have to be messy at all, because if you have strong creatives in a room with each other, they all have opinions. But what were the nature of these disagreements like? And I don't want to get too into it because I want people to go to your site, because you have a list. She has a list of songs on the side of the site that many I didn't know existed, or the TLC discography track list with notes about it, and I was struck at how many disagreements there were about what like Left Eye wanted in her vision for the song, like how she didn't approve of the morality of Creep, for instance.
Yeah. She wasn't big on the message of Creep, especially at the time. She had a boyfriend who was accusing her of cheating, so it did not work. You know what I'm saying? Like Andre still to this day says that he believes that Lisa was cheating on him, and it wasn't true. And Creep did not help her case, to be very honest. So now, but Andre wasn't the main focus, and I feel like it was like a low key thing that happened. But it was mostly okay. We're trying to keep it clean and trying to make sure we're giving a positive message to our fans, but also being vulnerable and telling our stories. And that's where the conflict was. This doesn't happen to T-Boz or Dallas. Which one of them? They both keep saying it's from a story that happened to them. So it's something happened to each one of them. And Lisa, like, I understand that, but I feel like we should direct it to a way that people should, understand. Yeah, I did these things, but don't do it. But T-Boz is like, nah, I did it, and that's what it was.
And then you know, again, speaking to the fabulous notes about her on the side of your site, the I was unaware that there have been, and I want to know why I was unaware, because at this time I'm buying CD singles. I had every TLC album. I was on unabashed TLC fan, and like why did I never hear this version that has her rapping? You know, a little bit contrary to the message of the song, although she still embraces the creative structure to her credit.
You talking about for the Dark remix of Creep?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, from what I think Dallas said in an interview with Vlad TV, that that was the actual verse for the actual song Creep. They asked her to write a verse, and she just was too conflicted to write something that would match the energy. So she wrote something that was completely opposite of what they're trying to do. So they threw it on the remix.
Got you. And I guess maybe it was on a CD single. I had the tape single. I don't know. I just never came across it, and they ain't playing on the radio or nothing. At least not in the DC area. So
Yeah,
you know, oh, go ahead.
No, it was on the single. It's on one of the singles.
Got you. But you know, back in those days, they'd have like maybe the CD single would have 5 versions, or the tape single would. If you got the wrong one, you miss out. So you know, I mean, obviously she didn't make any of those songs with Tupac, but I found one that was called "Let 'Em Have It." Is that a real song? I mean, as far as like it was intended by the owners of the rights to their vocals to be put together, or is that like some type of mashup?
Actually, Lisa hopped on that song herself.
Okay.
Like, Afeni was, was making the Until the End of Time, and Lisa really wanted to be a part of that project. And of course, Afeni loved Lisa. Lisa loved Afeni. They actually had a good relationship. And Afeni let Lisa get on the album and do Let 'Em Have It. And she said, okay, I'll do it, but I want to use Tupac's vocals for Untouchable too.
Ah, okay. Well,
So,
shoot.
and she said, okay, you have access to all the songs that I'm using right now that Tupac left behind. So she hopped on Let 'Em Have It, and she took Untouchable.
And how do you know all this stuff? Do you? This is from like watching documentaries and reading interviews and things of that nature.
Interviews. It's some written interviews in 2001 that Lisa did. It's a lot of publications. I can't even. I know this Groove, but she also did an interview. It's kind of hard to say which ones, but they're all written interviews, like magazine interviews. Some of them are typed up, so you don't have to like look for the scans. It's like some of them are on my website.
Man, have you ever, or if not you, like why isn't there a book about her yet? Like I feel like she deserves a biography.
The family has been working on that. They have been working on that. There's some unauthorized stuff out. And they actually helped with Carice Hutchinson. She actually did a one-woman play on Left Eye's life. So that's been going around for some years. And they've been helping her tell her story and giving her exclusive material so it can be really, really special.
Okay. Man, is that available on like YouTube or a stream or anything?
Actually, because it's a play theater, from my understanding, it's very strict about how they want how material should be distributed. So if you can't see it in person, she may have like an online thing where she'll give you an exclusive link if you purchase a ticket.
Got you. Oh, that might be something worth checking out.
Yeah.
I always respected her abilities as a rapper, and I definitely knew about Ladies Night. I knew about the Panther soundtrack, but I had no idea that she had so much respect amongst her peers. One thing, when her being on the Method Man album, I don't know if you saw in the picture, I crossed out when I said she killed it with original flow, because then that was like my assessment, but then like it just stopped. Like she only had like 4 bars, so I felt she was underutilized. But
yeah, I agree. I think she did great. I never seen her do a hook before, so that was actually something different.
yeah, I just wish that there had been more of her on it. But like I had no idea, and some of this is because I was unfortunately dealing with a cycle of incarceration. But I had no idea that she made like a song with the Goodie Mob. I didn't know that was her last song. I damn sure didn't know the Dayton Family. That was like wild out the blue for me. Will Smith, Craig Mack, Nas. I mean, she's got a pretty legendary discography. And for those who
Yeah.
don't get the significance of the points, or the I'm sorry, not the points, the Panther soundtrack, that's her on a song with Salt and Pepper, Latifah, um,
MC Lyte.
yeah, MC Lyte. I knew about that song because I went to the same high school as Michelle in the jail cello.
Okay.
She was a senior when I was a freshman.
Okay. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, she was. I didn't really know her like that, but she was good people's. So that I Legacy album that was on Spotify, that's an official release on you know that out of all the quote unquote solo projects, because I don't know how true to her vision that they are,
Mm-hmm.
that to me, that as a listener, that really gave me like a whole different perspective on her, because you would hear a rap so infrequently that I guess I'd never drawn the picture of like how great of a storyteller she was. And
Yeah.
I don't know how they look at it today, but like Slick Rick used to be lauded for his storytelling. Killer Mike, I mean, I could go on and on, old Cool G rap stuff, but the ability to tell stories is something that a lot of like cohesive stories, as opposed to
Yeah.
telling your story, is something that a lot of rappers can't do. And I I was impressed at that ability, and just hearing all of just her puts
Mm-hmm.
a totally different perspective on it. Well,
It
what
was.
do you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What's the question?
What do you think would have been the result if she would have had the ability to make music, with the resources she needed to her vision, and been alive to promote it with proper promotion, a proper album cycle?
Like, how would it come out? Like, how would everything turn out?
Yeah, all the way from like how good it would have been musically to how well it would have been received, all that.
Um, she had a really unique ear because Lisa was listening to every genre. Like T-Boz even joked before about going to her room while they had a tour bus, like during the Budweiser Superfest tour. She went to the room and Lisa was listening to country music and had a whole country vibe going on, and she just let her do her thing. Like Lisa was very unlimited. Like she wanted Garth Brooks on her album, she wanted Lil Kim, she wanted Michael Jackson, Prince. Like she just always had range, and she wanted to manage, like to take care of it, like just do different things. So I feel that the reception, depending on who she was working with, it would have been really catastrophic and shaking, because she didn't want anything average at all. She didn't want something that was similar to the next female rapper out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, all these girls are on red, I'm on pink. All these other girls are on blue, I'm on green. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like if you want a whole different world, she would just gave you a whole different world. And I feel like the reception would have been mixed like Supernova, but long as she had gotten the promotion she deserved and she was able to flesh out her ideas visually, you would understand it a lot more. It's hard for people to understand what you're doing if they're not getting a good solid amount of visuals to support it.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. So then let's take that same scenario and suppose that she's alive and young in today's climate. She's a new artist, no association with TLC. How do you think
Hmm.
she gets received? Because I think that she would be a superstar in her own right,
Yes.
with the right affiliations. Because no matter how good you are in the music industry, some stuff is luck and who you know.
Yeah, because you would think that because she was a part of the best-selling girl group of all time, they would give her that leeway. You know what I'm saying? But the
Because
thing is uh-huh.
I think I think like young listeners would really gravitate towards her messages. And I think if she just came presented fully formed as Left Eye by herself, maybe with a little bit more modern sound with the instrument, with the production, but the same
Mhm.
delivery, same cadence, same voice,
Mhm.
same subject matter. I think, like I said, I believe that she could be a superstar in her own right in today's music climate.
There's actually some artists that have been doing things recently that other fans, including myself, have felt like there's some form of symmetry, like Lil Nas X and like Doja Cat. Not so much of what Nicki's been doing, but there's elements where I feel okay, yeah, y'all are skating around what she did 20 years ago.
I mean, yeah, I can see. I mean, the problem with the Doja Cat and the Nicki Minaj is that, like, I don't know if that they incorporate so much of the safe sex message. Like, I think it gets overlooked at how controversial it was for her to be performing with a condom on her eye, but also
Yeah.
how necessary it was because, you know, like I was growing up right outside of DC at the time, and a lot of people around me was dying of AIDS. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that was appreciated. And you know, when her story gets told, I think that gets lost in it. Because I mean, in a way,
Yes,
she
that's
was
very
kind of
true.
like through I won't say protest, but visual demonstrations. She was
Hmm.
in some ways like one of the first hip hop activists.
Yes, that's
And
very true.
I don't think that gets mentioned.
It doesn't. People like to look at the drama and look at her as like there's half and half. There's, oh, she was such a giving person, and then there's the oh, she was just very crazy. And it's like, okay, there's those things, but there's also moments where she broken records with being in TLC. There's also, like you just said, like there's things she pioneered as a female rapper, and it's like people skate over that and look at, like the surface level stuff, and it's like I gotta look past those things. At least look at this. Look at these other things we're talking about. Like so many people, so much. I think about how many more people were using condoms because of TLC. Like having safe sex conversations and willing to express themselves more and look at how things can be a little more fun and not so serious all the time.
I was speaking of all right, so fun, you know, fun. You said you like the Funkos.
Yeah.
Let me ask you how you feel about this. Like, do you think I'm tripping? All right, so like Funkos, apparently there's these things called chase variants, like this Killmonger right here. If you
Mhm.
order the regular Killmonger, like 1 out of 1,000 people get that one, right?
Mhm.
And I guess they're worth more money, but mine ain't worth shit because I took them out the box. So
Uh.
I ordered the TLC waterfall set, right? and
Mhm.
and these clear ones are the chase variant,
Mhm.
but I don't want that. I want the regular one where I can see her like this. You think I'm tripping about that, or I should just be happy I got my chase variant?
Wait. I mean, they do have the regular one too.
Man, I ordered that thing 3 times off of Amazon and got the chase variant every time, and when I tried to order it from places specifically, they were all out of it.
Oh, yeah, it does exist. Yeah, if you're saying it should come with it, that would be nice.
No, I mean,
Like,
I don't even want it. I just want the regular one like T-Boz. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't want the clear waterfall one, but you know, like I said, that's the rare one, so I'm supposed to be happy about it, but I don't know.
you don't have to be happy with it. That's not what you want. That's not what you want. If you're not happy with it, you're not happy with it. That's it. Of course, be happy that you have it, but at the same time, you know, just you have a reason to be upset. It's justified.
Well, I mean, it's because people can't tell his left eye on the podcast, which was the point. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But so that her sister, who I'm not trying to disparage in any shape, form, or fashion, I actually think that she can rap pretty good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that what was the deal with that Raindrops project? Because again, I'm not trying to disparage her, but it seemed a little rehashed. Meaning that you know, some of those,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't too much, and maybe I didn't listen right, but I didn't catch too much new Left Eye material.
Um. Well, you talking about like her own solo, like Raindrop solo material, or Raindrop overseeing Lisa's solo material?
Well, maybe it's mislabeled, but on Spotify there's a project called Raindrops, and it's,
Raindrops in my left eye.
oh yeah, there you go, Raindrops in my left eye. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, that's a joint EP, like between her and Lisa. That's the last project we gotten under Lisa's name, besides the last TLC album.
So was it not? Maybe it wasn't rehashed. Maybe they took those verses and used them in other things. So I don't know. I
They
just
it's Raindrop solo material mixed with um some songs that Lisa, it wasn't intentional. Lisa didn't intentionally do these songs with some of the people on the project. Um it just, they took vocals and placed things here and there, and had people fill things out. Yeah, it wasn't I don't know, it doesn't have that same appeal like Our Legacy or a TLC album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just something that just thrown together.
Got you. So what did you think of Lil Mama's portrayal of her in the movie?
I think Lil Mama killed it.
I do too. I liked it.
She
And
had her mannerisms down. She literally, I thought I was looking at Lisa sometimes. And I love how spot on she was.
good. I agree. I thought she caught a little flack in the casting she didn't deserve, but I think she overcame that. How did you feel about that reality show to I mean, I don't think you can replace Lisa Left Eye Lopez, but to add a new member to TLC?
Are You the Girl with T-Boz and Chili?
Yeah.
That actually what made me a fan.
Ah, okay. Well, then it was a great thing.
Cause the first time I saw TLC was when No Scrubs came out in '99. That was the very first time. I was like 6 years old, and I was like, wow, I love this video. It was so animated. It was cool, and but I didn't keep up with them until after Lisa died and they did Are You the Girl, and I was like, oh, those are the girls. Oh, they cool. I like them. Oh, the other one. Oh, I didn't know she died. Okay, and I got like a recap through that, and then I watched the show. They technically wasn't trying to replace her. They wanted to do a song with a rapper, but they didn't want to go through the whole, okay, we're gonna be looking for a mainstream rapper. We're gonna give a fan a chance to do a song with us.
Okay, because I ain't gonna lie, I never watched it. I didn't like the idea.
No, they were just wanting to give a fan a chance to do a song with them. So they did their own little American Idol thing. I feel like it was also a marketing gimmick to get people to buy the greatest hits album that they were talking about before Lisa died, because that was what came out during that time that they were promoting on the side.
Okay, well, shoot, that's synergy then. I can dig that.
Yeah.
I mean, there really ain't no question in this, but another thing, I never caught how deep her rap on Pretty was.
Yeah.
I mean, Waterfalls, everything. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have a lot of profound, vocals and lyrics, but I don't know, I fancy myself somewhat a connoisseur of lyrics, especially on like the deeper levels, and I was a little mad at myself upon reviewing on Pretty, how good it was and how unaware, like that wouldn't have came to my mind, and she has crushed it.
Funny?
What's that?
The record label felt 180 of that. I feel like her lyrics and Waterfalls is very deep and profound, but they weren't even gonna release that song of I'm Pretty with Lisa vocals. They weren't gonna release it. They didn't think it was strong enough.
I mean, with me, I'm not talking about necessarily the musicality of it. I'm talking about what she was saying.
Yeah, like her lyrics in that song was actually very deep and powerful.
And then, I didn't know that she, for the rest of this, I ain't gonna hold you up too much longer. I just want to nerd out about a couple of songs and then give people an idea of what you can garner from visiting the eyesright.wixsite.com.
That's fine with me. You go ahead.
And I'm sorry, I'm not a Spice Girl familiar. It's Melani C, right?
Yes.
Man, I thought A, her rap fit the song perfectly, but B, I was unaware of it. My wife knew about it. Was that song successful?
Highly successful overseas. They didn't release it in the States. That's why.
And also, like I said, I was caught in a cycle of incarceration, and often we wouldn't be allowed to watch music videos. So, I missed a lot from like the late '90s to the mid 2000s. Do you know the story on how she linked up with the Dayton Family?
That one is a faint story in my memory. There's a whole article about that. I'm trying to remember how they met, but I know for sure. I don't remember. I really don't remember. I know that I don't know if she's related to them, but I know there's a Stephanie Dayton.
Right, because they're not from Ohio. They're from Flint, Michigan.
Okay, yeah. And Stephanie was Lisa's personal assistant. I don't remember how they met. I'm sorry, I don't remember how they met, but there is a whole article on my website about that. And talking about how he talked about how they were good friends and they hung out. And they did the song and why it didn't come out.
I don't want this to come out like I'm saying anybody's lying, but when you said that he said that they were good friends, and I'm sure that they were, that's not what I mean by it. But
Uh-huh.
the effervescence of her spirit leads me to believe that I bet you people came away from a conversation with her feeling like they were good friends with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they probably weren't like deep friends, but I feel like they were just like cool. They hung out, homies type thing.
Word. So another one, I didn't know the NSYNC song that she had, and you know, I was never afraid. I was never too cool for school. I like some of the boy bands, like, I ain't really fuck with like New Kids on the Block or O Town and all that shit. But Backstreet Boys could sing, and NSYNC could sing, and
Yeah.
I don't really got no point to it. But that NSYNC song was crazy. I was like totally unaware of its existence, with or without her. My wife, who's a big fan of all parties involved, thought that Left Eye didn't fit well on that song. I disagreed.
Hmm.
Where would
I
you lie?
disagree too. I disagree too. That was in her element. That was in her element to me. Like she came in there swinging. Like, I really wish they went through with the making it a single, because that would have been amazing.
Yeah, it seems like there were so many times that she could have had some non-TLC stuff that would have raised her stature higher, and it was just like one little aspect that held her back. But then you can counterbalance that with like Ladies Night and everything, and then
Yeah.
who knows what was going to happen with her career. I was going to ask you your opinion about the VH1 doc, but I was watching that today, and it's just so sad. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
it's beautiful in its own way too. Um,
Yeah.
just what would you take from that? Like if you were gonna like present it to a youth that you had to guide and you wanted to give them a life lesson, what would you tell them in particular to look for in that?
Study how much she was into change and peace through all her through all the drama that happened in her life. She always strived for peace. So whenever you watch that, look at how much in tune she was and how much peace she was not only having but maintaining.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. So I want to finish up by asking you some of your favorites.
Okay.
What's your favorite single Left Eye verse, be it on anything?
My favorite verse? Huh. I mean, of course it's from Supernova. Of course it's from the Universal Quest. The verse that stuck with me for my entire life was the second verse in the Universal Quest.
I ain't get familiar with the material like that. I don't expect you to rap it for me or anything, but could you refresh my memory a little bit?
What was it? She said, "Let's touch on Christianity. I question all humanity. Is God so full of vanity that children must enter this family that haven't yet to see that Jesus is the key? Will suffer this calamity. Um what was it? What was it? I'll cast you down for eternity, insanity." She was basically telling people like literally God, you don't have to fear God, you can love God and be with God. Like she got really religious on that song, but also was trying to focus on the spiritual aspects of, like I said, peace. Peace was always her main game. She's like, listen, you don't have to like follow the standards of Christianity. You don't even gotta go to church to praise God. You can stay home and praise God. You ain't gotta do all of that. You
Church
ain't
is
get caught up in.
church has two of us gathered in His name.
She said, "Hey, listen, we need to, praise God how we want to praise God and keep the peace and love on each other."
See, I can't say favorite verse because I liked all the verses of the song, but I like that, and I don't know the name, but I'm sure you will. The song that was
Mhm.
on Supernova, where it told the story of the girl getting abused by her dad,
Hmm.
or maybe it was her boyfriend, but
This friends, yes. Actually, there's two
oh
songs. Like
yeah, I'm sorry, my fault. It was her boyfriend, and then she accepted him back.
friends. That
Yeah,
was friends.
yeah, that I thought that was really deep. It was hard, man, and the reason I couldn't figure out which verse, because the one about accepting him back or the one about him hurting her were both just so powerful and so well delivered that it was hard for me to pick. But that blew me away. Before that, I probably would have had to go Waterfalls. But what's your favorite Left Eye TLC song?
My favorite TLC song, or okay,
that has Left Eye on it, because
This Is How It Works.
Really, that's a good choice.
Yeah. It's literally the last song she did background vocals on, and it's just them and Deborah Killing singing and her rapping, and it's just sexy, and the beat is just amazing. They fucking killed. I'm sorry, they really killed it. They really killed it.
Oh, so it's okay. You can definitely cuss on here.
Yeah, I know. My bad.
Oh, it's all good. So that being said, what's your favorite Left Eye video appearance?
My favorite music video?
Yeah.
No Scrubs.
Over Ladies Night.
Yes. I mean, I love Ladies Night. I love how powerful it is, but No Scrubs is what put me on to TLC and what put me on to Lisa. And Ladies Night is cool. I like it, but that video has, oh my God, that's top notch.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I got. Is there anything that I didn't touch on musically that's important? And like I said, I purposely didn't ask about some things because I want people to go check out your site, because it's, if you want to know about Lisa Left Eye Lopes music, it's got to be the best place on the internet. It's definitely better than her Discogs page or her Wikipedia page for the music entries.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I did want to talk about Nina.
Okay.
So, people, I know you had some questions about Nina. Didn't you have some questions about Nina?
Well, I have my thoughts for the episode I'm gonna do on Nina, so I didn't want to touch on the territory from my side of things too much, but I'd love to hear what you got to say.
Well, here's the thing. So people wonder why she went to Thoreau Records. And the thing is, she had a dream that a black knight approached her, and for some reason she interpreted as Suge Knight. This is when Supernova was not getting the treatment it deserved. She and the record label broke their contract with her. The thing is, when Supernova happened, it was done. They said, nah, we need you to go back in and redo this album and do new songs. And though she listened, it was actually in contract that she was only supposed to do this album and get the album done. And if it's done, it's done. If she has to record new songs, that will break the contract. And they broke contract. So it made her legally a free agent to go sign with a different record label as a solo artist. Still signed as TLC, but free agent as a solo artist. They just got to sign the release paperwork, and she's free to go.
Okay.
And so she was already immediately seeking places, and she thought Suge was the place.
I mean, he did get her on the credit on the cover of XXL pretty fast.
Yeah. So that was like November in 2001. So at that point, Supernova was done. No more promotion. Moving on to the next joint. And she wanted to redo Supernova. That's why some of those songs, that's how that album existed, because she wanted to redo Supernova. And also create an album with brand new songs. So just so it can get some sort of shine. Like, she really wanted to get some sort of shine. So some of those songs on that album is brand new songs. What was it? Rags to Riches with Corrupt. That's an original remake. And so was Untouchable with Tupac. That's an original remake.
Okay, yeah. I do remember on my notes. I forgot when we was talking about the verses. I do remember Corrupt had a particularly strong verse, and Pac always got a strong verse. So I didn't think that needed to be said.
Yeah. So and there's some other songs she recorded with them. But the situation with left because of course her fans were really worried about her and telling her, the last person you took to the Lakers game was Tupac, you need to be careful. And people just were on edge about it. And Suge Knight made it worse with her and TLC. They had just got things better. And he went on the record, he went to a Wendy Williams show and talked mad trash about T-Boz and Chili and Dallas, and like making assumptions about Chili and Dallas' sexuality, and saying that Chili came to the club, came to the studio one day and stripped for them. and said T-Boz didn't look good after she had her baby. He was talking mad stuff about them and trying to boost Lisa at the same time, and it actually made their relationship bad again, and they end up like getting into it again. Like, how can you? They're like, how are you dealing with this man? He's talking trash about us. And unfortunately, she had to learn the hard way to really let that man go, because it got physical between her and Suge.
I see. I had no idea of all that.
It got physical with her and Suge. Her uncle Kyle, before he passed away, may he rest in peace. He was there for a lot of the high points, like in her life, whether they were bad or good. He was like a father figure after her father died. So basically, there was a moment in the studio because he shortened her advance money for her album, and she tried to ask him, can I have a little more money? And the thing is that instead of trying to hear her out or say, no, this is what I have, he just started strangling her.
Jesus.
And it's to the point where he almost tried to kill her, and she kicked him in the balls and got free. Now, there's been
left there.
Now there's a story going around that there's a story going around now, like some people that knew Suge and apparently met Lisa through Death Row, that she went to his house spontaneously one day and set his bed on fire and left. And right, and my thing is, the only reason she would do something like that is in retaliation of you doing something to her. She just didn't spontaneously just do random shit like that just for attention or the cause of ruckus. She could, but that's not the motive. Like, no, and they lived in a condo, you know what I'm saying? So if she did that, it was in response to him choking her.
Yeah, well, I mean, I ain't mad at her, and like I said, all I care about is the music. That's unfortunate that happening to her, but I mean, it looks like Suge Knight won't be choking any more women, so we at least got that for us.
Yeah, like there's some good things said about him because he did do some good things, but some of the bad things really just overshadowed, and that's the sad part about it. So, I just want people to know that when it comes to Nina, she was a new personality that Lisa was building up for a while. She just used the roles basically to like ignite her and show a hardcore side that the media kept asking from her. So, okay, gonna be hardcore, cool. I'm gonna do it a Death Row way. But that didn't work out the way she planned. But before she died, and ended up hurting her relationship with T-Boz and Chili. T-Boz forgave her, but her and Chili didn't get a chance to like have a kumbaya before she passed. So yeah, so it was like there's been some things happening, and it's just Nina came with a lot of drama, but I feel like if she had the chance to really show, she would have really shown.
Yeah, I agree.
She was the highlight. That's why she's in the middle on the cover with Suge. Like, like she had the biggest name, she had the biggest like anticipation, the biggest fan base. Like she had a lot of energy, and she just wanted to be seen. And she was gonna go by any means necessary to be seen. And people understand she's a force to be reckoned with, whether she's with TLC or not.
I agree. I couldn't say it any better. I can't think of a better place to end it. I would just like to thank you so much for your time. And again,
no problem.
Encourage everybody to go check out theeyesright.wixsite.com. That's all spelled correctly. THEYESRIGHT.WIXSITE.com. And where can they check you out on social media?
You can find me on Facebook as The Eye Is Right. I have a Facebook group and a like page, and also I'm on Instagram mostly as The 9 Is Right. So the number 9 is right.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and that was super edifying. I appreciate the deep dive in Left Eye musical history. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Let me know if you want me to talk about Left Eye again.
Anytime. Thank you so much, and you have a good night.
No problem. You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.